take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. That's it. Position your body in a way where you can feel comfortable, feel relaxed. And just notice that when you breathe in, you can allow yourself to breathe in slightly deeper than you normally would. And as you exhale, allow that outward breath to go on a little bit longer, emptying your lungs so that the next breath in is slightly deeper than the last. And just imagine that you're breathing in a feeling of relaxation on the inward breath. And imagine that you're breathing out tension or stress in the outward breath. Breathing in what you need and exhaling what you don't. And as you breathe in and breathe out, do a mental scan of your body to look for any clues of tension or stress. And sometimes you can find that tension in the tiny muscles of the forehead, around the jaw, sometimes in the neck or the shoulders. So as you breathe in that feeling of resourceful relaxation, imagine it melting away that tension. And then imagine the tension that has melted away is leaving your body in that outward breath. Maybe you see it as a grey or dark colour leaving your body as you breathe out. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. As your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. And I wonder if you could imagine walking through the woods. I want you to imagine the sounds you would hear walking through the woods. Maybe you would hear leaves gently rustling in a breeze. Maybe the sound of twigs breaking under your feet. Maybe other sounds. Maybe there's a smell connected to those woods. The smell of nature. The coolness of a breeze. I want you to get a sense that with each step you take through these woods enables you to feel more and more relaxed. And I want you to set yourself an intention. You're making your way to a squirrel hide there in the woods. You know the location of it, and maybe there's a well-worn path that leads to that hide. And normally the hide would be a great place to see the animals of the woods. But the hide in your imagination now will be a portal. And we can say it's a portal to a deeper part of your subconscious mind. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1. And when I arrive at 1, I want you to imagine that you have arrived in the hide. With each descending number, just imagine your body getting deeper and deeper relaxed. 10, just releasing any tension in your face. 9, feeling that any tightness in the jaw is just melting away. 8, breathing in relaxation, exhaling tension. And then 7, just focus now on your neck and your shoulders. Some people think of the neck and the shoulders as the bank account of stress. Imagine stress as almost like crystals of ice fused in your muscle tissue, and as you breathe in that relaxation, imagine it melting away. 7 becomes 6, and just feel that relaxation spreading down into your arms. As you imagine how it would feel for your arms to feel limp, loose and heavy, just like the limbs of a puppet with no strings. That's it. And then 6 becomes 5, and now focus on your internal organs, your lungs, stomach. They all relax at exactly the same time. Your heart relaxes, and then feel that 5 becomes 4 and your gut relaxes. I want you to get a sense that when people feel angry a lot, there's more cortisol in their blood. And when there's more cortisol in the blood, that can feel tightness there in the gut. So as you breathe in this relaxation, just allow that tightness to be released. As you feel like you're now relaxing from within. And then 3 down into your legs. Your legs now feel limp, loose, relaxed. And then 2, and then just maybe by now you're already approaching the hide. But I want you to imagine there is something in the hide. The most comfortable chair that you've ever experienced inside the hide. Even if it defies the laws of physics, that's fine. This is just your imagination. 2 becomes 1. Feel that ripple of relaxation from your toes up to the top of your head, down to the tips of your fingers, as you're now in the hide with a strange addition, a very comfortable chair. And imagine placing yourself on that chair, feeling so relaxed. No need to look at the nature beyond. Just imagine how good it would feel to go back and not change the past, but give a different meaning to the past. You are wiser now than you've ever been, but you didn't have that wisdom when you were a child. So as you imagine relaxing on that chair in that hide in those woods, I want you to imagine going back in time at your current age to some old stables. And I want you to imagine seeing 2 ponies. Maybe you can remember the names of those ponies. I want you to get a sense that you're seeing them as they were. Seeing them, and remember how you felt spending all of that time with these ponies. Feel a sense of safety here. The ponies don't judge, don't punish, don't criticize, don't yell. It's no surprise that you felt so good here in these stables. You were accepted exactly as you were. As you feel relaxed in these stables, I want you to imagine seeing a childlike version of you entering the stables, maybe 12 or 13 years old. See yourself as you were back then. And maybe they're surprised to see you there in the stables. But I want you to tell this child that you are them from the future. And see that confused, disbelieving expression on their face. They don't buy this for a moment. which is why you're going to convince them by telling them something only they would know. Maybe it's a secret they had when they were a few years younger, maybe 11 or 12. Maybe it's a memory that only they know they experienced. But this is how you'll convince them that you are them from the future, by telling them something only they would know. And when you've done that, and they believe that you are them from the future, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And to begin with, I just want you to listen. No judgment, no criticism, no suggestions. Ask them what life is like for them. What's good, what's bad, and just listen. No judgment, just acceptance. And maybe there's certain things that they say that just make it natural for you to want to hug them. To let them know that you understand, which of course you do, because you are them. I want you to tell them all the things that you wished someone told you. Tell this little girl that she is worthy. She is kind. She's smart, capable. And maybe these are things she hasn't heard. So it would be like a wilted flower getting sunshine and rainwater when they haven't had it for so long. Tell them that you believe in them. I want you to get a sense that they are already shifting their facial expressions, their body language. And then I want you to give this child something that you wish you had back then. A particular resource. And maybe this is a resource of assertiveness, confidence, worthiness. I want you to imagine that you're giving this young girl a glowing ball of energy that represents the resource that you needed most back then. See the color of that glowing ball of energy and see that she accepts it, places it to her chest and absorbs that quality. So now you know she has that quality back then when she needed it. But I want you to get a sense that this is a reciprocal exchange. I want you to think of the quality that you had back then that would be most useful for you now. Maybe back then there was more creativity, more understanding, or something else. Remember back then of one positive quality that you had in abundance. And you don't have to know exactly what it is. Just feel that there was something you had back then that would be useful for you now. And see that girl provide you with that glowing ball of energy. A different color to the one you gave her. But just know that this is going to help you for this time in your life. As she hands it to you, feel that you're placing it to your chest and absorbing that quality. And notice that when you absorb that quality, a lot of historical anger and baggage feels like it's melting away. The past is the past. You can't change it, but you can learn from it, become wiser for it. I want you to get a sense that some of the beliefs that you had back then as a child came from unique experiences that weren't fair, weren't right, but just were. And an emotion that was justified back then may not be useful for you now. So as you feel that you have this new resource, feel that you can leave something behind in these stables that isn't serving you now. I want you to get a sense that you're about to leave these stables, but tell this younger version of you that she is loved, she is worthy, that she does belong, that the right people will welcome her with open arms. She just needs to find her people. You give her a hug and say goodbye, and then imagine traveling through time to a moment when you were 19 years old, but to a time before something unpleasant happened. I want you to meet that 19-year-old version of you an hour, a day before that unpleasant thing happened. She remembers you from the stables. I want you to ask how she is. Just listen again without judgment. Give her a hug, and then tell her what is about to happen in the near future. And I want you to tell her she has the ability to set and enforce a boundary. It is her right. I want you to tell her exactly what happens if she doesn't have that boundary, and how empowered she would feel the moment she does. She might feel confused, daunted, but I want you to get a sense that you may not be able to change the past, but you can give it a different meaning. And hindsight is just what you would do differently in the past with what you now know in the present. So we're going to change a memory to introduce hindsight. You at your most confident, assertive, clear in what is okay and not okay. But instead of her experiencing that, you're going to do this as a team. Step into her body, her youth and energy, your wisdom and experience. The two of you find yourself in a particular place. But before this unpleasant thing happens, you realize that you can set boundaries, clearly communicate what is okay and not okay. No need for anger, no need for aggression, clear, confident communication. And I want you to relive this moment the way you want it to be. Not just for then, but to ripple through time all the way up to the present. that you are worthy. You're worthy of respect. Your boundaries need to be respected. And I want you to play around with maybe 2, 3, 4 different scenarios. But in every scenario, you feel confident. You are clear in your boundaries, and you avoid the unpleasant thing that happened. And in doing so, communicate a line in the sand that shall not be crossed. And when you found the one that feels like it is the most empowering, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense that this is now creating a ripple through space and time from that moment all the way to your present. When people feel worthy in expressing their desires, opinions, boundaries and standards in a calm, reasonable way, a lot of anger just isn't necessary. Anger is the ejector seat. Boundaries is avoiding the very cause of the thing that would mean that you need to use the ejector seat. So now that you have these empowered feelings, don't be surprised if anger goes down and calm, clear, reasonable communication feels easier in some way. You are not your past. It does not define you, but it does shape you. It could shape you to become angry and feel unworthy, or it could shape you to feel confident, empowered, calm and reasonable. And you get to decide what meaning you give to your past and your present. It's time to leave that memory, but leave the memory at a time where it's just you and that 19-year-old version of you, and tell her she is loved, she is capable, she is worthy, that she also belongs, she is welcome. See her updating certain thoughts, beliefs and ideas, and feel that those too are rippling through time. Give her a hug and say goodbye, telling her that you are now a guardian angel to your past, that you can visit any moment in the past and help shift it to an empowering meaning for you. You leave that past moment and find yourself back there in a comfortable chair in a squirrel hide in the woods. But somehow you feel lighter, freer, more empowered, worthy. So leave that squirrel hide and find yourself walking back through the woods, back to your present body in the present moment, feeling that this is a journey in your imagination that can lead to complete transformation or subtle changes that take your life in a positive direction. It's time to leave this thought. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect fully into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.